no one is like freaked out when I show up here in fur anymore because they're just like, that's who Christy is.
Exactly.
But,
it's you.
I think for someone else, they might be like, oh, you wearing fur now? Like,
yeah, I think that.
Fake fur. Fake fur.
Fake fur, yes. No paint throwing,
Don't
please.
throw blood on me. I don't know how men accessorize. I'm not.
I don't know.
Belts, watches.
Watches, a tie to the office. Like, ties can be cool.
Yeah. Men, how are you accessorizing?
Yeah, let us know.
Educate us. I have to make sure my phone is silent.
I just turned mine to do not disturb.
Okay, I'm doing that too. But I also need it to disturb me a little bit because I need to pull up for reference what we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I should probably have that for reference well.
I need to be disturbed at times.
That would be helpful.
Thank you for dressing up with me today. I wore my fancy pants on purpose.
I love it.
Because I knew we were going to be talking about fashion. We promised the people fashion as a topic. I like that I can hold up to some of the promises I make. I very often am breaking my promises. That we're going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I promise we're going to do that. I never. Yeah. I'm just like.
We ran on the platform of fashion, and you delivered.
That is one I can deliver on. Although I was noticing you got your nails done.
They do not match my outfit.
I don't care
at all.
I don't care.
And I like when I chose my outfit last night. I don't know about you, but I tend to choose my outfits based on the weather.
Well, yeah, try to.
Today it's rainy and gray and gross, and like I don't really want to wear like sunshine and rainbows and bright colors on a rainy, gross day. So this is what I wanted to wear, but it has nothing to do with my like cotton candy nails.
No, I love them.
But my nails say summer. My outfit says winter.
This is more like fall. It's giving October.
Fall vibes.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
For Tim.
Yes.
Just for Tim.
It's always pumpkin spice season here when we're making fun of Tim. Well, it's making me wish that I had done something, but...
Oh, that's okay.
Before you guys all run away thinking we're going to just talk about fashion the whole time, this will relate to marketing. I promise.
It will.
And there's got to be some people that enter the chat and are just like, they're once again talking about fake nails. But I know that there are men that listen and that
so-and-so has
they
left
suffer
the chat.
through it. They suffer through it for some reason. They must like us. I don't know.
How could you not?
If you've been here a while, then you know eventually we get to the topic. But we got to this place where we're like, I think it would be good to talk about dressing for success and the nuances around how dressing affects psychology, because that interests me so much. It always has. And let's just kind of, in your experience, just kind of as an overview, how have you felt like dressing differently throughout your life has affected like how you've been treated, or like your psychology of how you treat yourself or act?
Yeah, that's a super good question. And I was thinking about that yesterday. My very first real job was at a doctor's office.
Okay.
So for like my first 10 working years, I wore scrubs. So there wasn't really a whole lot of wiggle room as far as fashion goes. But what we could do was we could wear cool sneakers.
Okay.
And we could wear cool makeup.
Okay.
So that kind of was like the only, or like do our hair in different ways.
Could you pick fun scrubs?
I did pick fun scrubs.
Okay.
I had one that looked like a kimono top. And then I had one that had like hearts and cute, like brightly colored designs on it. But
I always wanted a job where I could wear scrubs.
I mean, it basically feels like you're wearing pajamas to work.
Right.
So it doesn't like inspire a whole lot of effort.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in the medical field get in that rut because like you feel like you're not really wearing anything fancy, so you don't do anything fancy with the rest of you.
Yeah.
But where I worked, it was a dermatology practice. So it was like you wanted your skin to look good. You wanted to make the practice look good. So that was kind of part of it. So that was my way of like trying to dress up for work was doing, my hair and makeup and having cool sneakers.
Yeah. Well, and you bring up a good point because I remember my sister-in-law is a hairdresser, and she used to tell me she always made sure her hair looked nice because that was a little bit her marketing for.
Absolutely.
It'd be crazy if she had like insane hair and she's just like, but I promise I'm good at it. Like, it doesn't translate. It's like you're your own model for that.
Exactly.
So you talking about your skin being good at the dermatology, like I feel like it's whatever industry you're in, you kind of have to reflect that.
Yeah, the doctors were very specific about, like they only wanted, like, I mean, it was very, I don't know, what's the right word? Probably misogynistic because all the doctors were men, but they only wanted the ones with good skin to be like in the front.
Really?
Yeah, like to do front desk or to do billing. And then like you could see that some of the girls that like didn't have great skin, they usually ended up at some point working in the back, like filing or doing other things, which was unfair, but that was the way it was.
Yeah. Well, and so like when you think about office life and how that translates, especially here, like we don't have a dress code here.
Which I love.
And I was thinking about that. Jobs where I have had dress codes, it almost creates like a rebellion to like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even care about wearing jeans, but jobs where I wasn't allowed to wear jeans, I really wanted to wear jeans. Like, I never wear jeans, but it has that like reverse effect where it's like, because I can't now, I want to.
Exactly.
And it's like jobs where you don't have a dress code. Does that make, I'm just thinking psychology in general of people, like, does that then make you want to dress well, or do you take advantage and just kind of dress really sloppy? Like, I think about that a lot.
Yeah. I love the fact that our office doesn't have a dress code because it makes it very flexible for every person and every style, whatever man, woman, child. We have kids here too. Like it makes it very welcoming, easygoing environment to work in. But I will say for me personally, I feel like whenever I'm going to be client facing, I do want to look more professional than more comfortable, which is harder to do when I'm working from home because all I want to do is wear pajamas when I'm at home.
Right.
And I do work mostly from home. Like I'm not here in the office with you guys super, super often. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely a confidence boost and like a professionalism boost when, at least on Zoom from here to here, I look like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You don't want to look like you just rolled out of bed. It's not very, like your clients are not going to put a lot of trust in you if you look sloppy.
So that's kind of the perception that attaches to it, is if you dress well, you're more professional and you're more knowledgeable. It's like that's kind of like the unspoken thing that attaches to it.
Yeah.
If you dress sloppy, if you show up in your pajamas, it's like it has this kind of unspoken, like you're not as intelligent or capable and it's not true.
No, it's not true at all.
It's not necessarily true, but that is the judgment and stigma to it. And so, but separate from that, I at least feel like when I dress better for work or just going out or anything, it creates, like you said, this confidence of like, it puts me in work mode for one thing.
That's true.
Like I'm here to work, not like slack off. Like it just kind of clicks into my brain. Like I'm in boss lady mode, as Kevin Burns likes to say.
I love it. I love Christy boss lady mode.
It just kind of puts me in that mode so that I know that, especially like when I go home and I can like change into pajamas, it like shifts gears a little bit. Like, do you feel like that at all?
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And I think that's where it gets tricky working from home because it's easy to get in that. I find for myself, it's easy for me to get in that rut of like, just wear pajamas and keep my camera off and don't worry about what I look like. But, being an account manager, being client facing for probably, I don't know, maybe 50% of the time. Yeah. That's not a good rut to get into because it's counterproductive.
Right.
But so yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about what COVID did was everyone was working from home.
Yep.
And there was this new like, how do we dress for work at home? And I thought it was so cool that all these new companies popped up with like work from home wear that never existed before.
Yes.
There was this one company that I saw on Instagram. I forget the name of the company, but they made workwear for women who work from home, but it was like it had a built-in bra cup thing in all their tops.
Oh.
Which I thought, well, that is a genius marketing move because all women hate wearing a bra.
Right. Especially at home.
And at home when you're working, you just want to be comfortable. So I was like, that was brilliant. But then, you know, you had people that were showing up to work with like a hoodie and,
Yep.
you know, not combed hair and,
Right.
you know, did they brush their teeth? You look at them and you wonder.
Yeah, it does. It kind of makes you. It's the perception of it. It's just kind of like what it makes you question that person. Like, unfortunately, it just does. It's like if you're not put together, it's like, are you mentally capable of this job? Especially think about like job interviews or first days or even just like first month of working somewhere. It's like you kind of have to put forth that extra effort because if you've been here for 10 years and I know you, then, you know, if you show up looking like a mess, it's like, I'm not going to, you know, we're not going to judge you.
There's probably a good reason for it.
Well, yeah, and we're not going to judge you as harshly. We already know you're very competent and capable and you can sit at your desk and we know that you're doing your thing. But in that first like few months or even year, it's like, it has that judgment attached to it. So we were talking about, examples of movies that we've seen where they portray how much the way that you dress or glow up like affected and again these are fictional examples, but the one that came into my head immediately, one of my favorite comfort movies, is The Devil Wears Prada, which if you haven't seen it, she gets a job at this very fancy magazine agency and she's all the women there fashion glamazons and she's a mess and doesn't know how to dress herself.
Doesn't know anything about fashion.
Right. But then the moment she gets a makeover where she's then in very high, expensive, chic couture clothes, suddenly she starts acting wicked differently and works differently and harder.
Is taken more seriously.
She starts being taken way more seriously. Her coworkers start taking her way more seriously and treating her differently.
Yeah, she gets more more work opportunities, you know.
Yep. Everyone thought she was a joke when she was showing up just like in a Target sweater and ugly shoes. And it's like, that's a real thing. Like it's a very, you know, exaggerated fictional example, but it's a real thing.
Yeah,
it's
unfortunately true.
It is. It's very true. Another example that's also just a ridiculously exaggerated fictional example is Legally Blonde. She's just very, you know, silly. It's a typical blonde.
I think that one goes like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like extreme, where she was like overdressed.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes inappropriately dressed for the setting.
Yeah.
And so people wouldn't take her seriously, even though she had the knowledge to do whatever. Was required of her.
Yeah, she didn't fit in for what they perceived was appropriate for a lawyer. She was all pink when she should have been in black suits or whatever. You know, that was the belief or perception or judgment, and so she didn't get treated well. So yeah, it's kind of like thinking about those stigmas. How does that affect how we choose to get dressed? So for me, I dress based on how I feel most of the time.
Yeah.
And for me, a lot of the time, getting dressed up nicer makes me feel better.
True.
My thing I say all the time, if I feel like crap inside, I try to get dressed up nice for the outside. It's all I can do. It's all I can do. Mask it all up. It's, you know, if I'm feeling crappy, then I can at least look nice out here. And it helps. It does help. Yeah. I feel more like a spectacle out in public if I'm looking like raggedy. If I'm in like my leggings that have cat hair all over them, I feel way more stared at than if I'm even wearing. If I'm wearing these shiny, ridiculous silver pants. Like for some reason, for me, that's how because I at least feel put together and it just comes with a level of respect for some reason.
Yeah, I think I realized that even more so, hopefully this isn't too off topic, but even more so when Aaron's health was really bad and we were in the hospital, in and out of the hospital a lot. Because like when you're in and out of the hospital and you're in a crisis, you don't care what you look like because you have life or death, situations happening. Like the last thing that matters is whether your outfit looks good or your hair looks good or whatever. But like I definitely noticed that impacting my confidence, my self-esteem, and also like you leave the hospital and you don't really want to go anywhere else because like I look like a mess.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like at the same time you kind of don't care. So I don't know if maybe I'm.
Do you think
rambling.
doctors treated you better or worse if you were dressed better or worse? Like, oh, this is a
good question.
This is an intelligent, important woman. We need to get her answers quicker, or just like you look like a trash person.
Yeah,
so
that actually is a real thing because now that I'm thinking about it, that's a really good question. The days when I just looked like a total nightmare, it definitely did affect because I look younger than I am already, and so if I look extra disheveled, I can look even younger.
Yeah.
And so they'd look at me like, what are you, 15? Or like, you don't know what you're talking about. And they would talk down to me and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there would be other days where I'm like, okay, I have the wherewithal to get dressed and not look like a train wreck. And then I'd be getting compliments from the nurses, about how cute you look, or the doctor would be like looking me in the eyes instead of ignoring me and only talking to Aaron because he's older than me by 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely was the case. And I can kind of see why, because as someone who's been in the ER in the middle of the night and seen how people look that show up at the ER in the middle of the night, there's a certain way some people look.
Yeah.
And if you come in looking like that, they're going to assume you're going to be a nightmare to deal with or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like, what chaos is this that I'm going to have to deal with for the next 3 hours?
Exactly.
So, yeah, that is true.
Yeah. No, and the more you just worked that out and talked that out, it made me realize I do tend to dress up more on purpose if I know I'm going to the doctor. Or like when I am car shopping is a great example.
Ooh, yeah.
I am getting dressed to the nines
too.
because I'm not letting salesmen take advantage of me.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I also look super young for my age, and so I can easily. This is just a little side story. I was at TJ Maxx on Sunday a few days ago, and the cashier said to me, as I was, how they're always like, you open a credit card at TJ.
Yeah.
she goes, you can open a TJX credit card if you're 18. I'm 36.
Yep.
I'm like, you think I might not be 18?
You know what? I tell myself, I hated it for the longest time. And now that I'm getting older, I'm like, yeah, I
went and
young.
sat in my car and looked in the mirror and was like, my face is like falling. You think I could be 18, under 18? I was dying.
What's happening to these 18-year-olds that I look 18?
I know. So I'm like, my skincare routine's doing amazing.
Yeah, it's going to come in super handy when we're like 70 and people are like, "Oh, you don't look a day over 45." Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
because of that, times when I need to be taken seriously as not as 17-year-old.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I do get dressed up to be taken more serious. Like you're not. I know you're scams, Mr. Car Salesman, and you're not gonna talk to me about how you can get me a lower car payment, and like I know how this works.
The deal.
I've been around the block many times. I've bought many cars, and I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So I just find that works. And so in the work setting, the same thing. I just feel like there's not many times that I feel like I need to kind of stand up and be more firm. But there are with clients or whatever. And I just feel like I can do that more confidently when I am dressed more confidently. If again, don't get me wrong, I show up here in leggings, like and a sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, we've all been here in our uber comfy clothes at one point or the other.
Yeah, but it's not. It's generally almost never when I know I have meetings with clients or never for like a Matterport or a photo shoot.
I would never show up in front of clients or in person in my sweats, like, so I, at least not on purpose.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Like, definitely I try to look more professional when I'm going to be in front of clients, but it is nice that we have an atmosphere here where if you did show up in your comfy clothes because you don't have any client meetings that day, no one's going to be like, why do you look like a schlub, you know?
So some of the like personal point of view questions that got me kind of thinking was, have you ever overdressed or underdressed and then that made you feel out of place, either for work or for other places? Like, does getting overdressed then ever make you feel like awkward?
What's funny is I think after COVID, I'm more conscious of dressing up too nicely than, like, I used to wear much fancier clothes before COVID. Anywhere I went, like, and now I think my perspective has changed on that a little bit. I definitely dress less fancy than I used to.
For what reason?
I don't know what the reason is. I wonder if it's just because we were stuck at home for so long, or because, you know, everyone was working from home and everyone kind of ended up dressing down in one way or the other. But I can't think of a specific example right this second of where I felt overdressed, like embarrassed overdressed.
Yeah.
I can think of examples where I was underdressed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like as far as work is concerned, I don't think you can be overdressed.
Unless you're showing up in a ball gown.
Right, exactly. I was just going to say, unless like you show up in a tux.
And honestly, even then, the way I am, I'm like, I a little bit am like, the world is my set. And I'm very unapologetic for it because I'm just like, look, I think it's fun to get dressed up and be.
So here's a negative example that it popped into my head of that. So, like, I was recently talking to someone who was telling me they got a new job at a pest control service company, but they work in the office, so they're like answering the phone, booking, you know, pest control services, things like that. And she's like, yeah, everyone at the office just wears like hoodies and jeans, and she's like, I'm wearing my stilettos and my cute outfits and my skirts and stuff. And I'm like, that's great, but like, aren't you going to be very out of place? To me, that seems like it would be very strange if someone walked in the pest control office and there was like a glamazon standing there.
Does she have job assignments that would make the utility of that outfit difficult?
No.
Or is she just the one that stands out?
No, she's just the one that stands out.
Yeah.
So I think that might be one of the negative things about being overdressed is maybe you make your other coworkers.
It looks odd.
Looks odd compared to them, or they feel uncomfortable because you're dressed nicer or very, very differently. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just something. That was just the first thought that popped in my head. I'm like, man, that's gonna look really strange.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I've heard, I don't know if you've heard, there's this thing, I see it all over TikTok and whatever, and it's controversial about women dressing to becoming the office siren, which is, I don't know if this is like a Gen Z thing or if it's a millennial thing. I don't know what it is, but it's become this thing, which is like a certain way to dress to basically become the office sexy lady. And it's a certain style. I don't know a super lot about it, but what has started happening is certain women trying to dress in this very sexy office attire way. Like, certain women are getting fired for it or like reprimanded for it because they love the aesthetic of it. I'm going to become the office siren,
the hot girl at the office.
hot girl at the office.
Yeah,
and so they start dressing in, you know, what is perceived to be an overly provocative way. Like, I don't care how you all dress. Like,
wear what you want.
Wear what you want.
I don't care.
But that's what's happening. And then the repercussions of it are like, for their workplace, it's like, you cannot be showing that much of your body, or that's not like time and place, right? Like time and place. Even if there's not a dress code, it's like you still probably can like use like common sense to say maybe that mini skirt is way too short for this setting, and certain girls are just like not using that common sense, and then they're getting fired and being like, I don't understand why I'm fired.
Yeah, what happened? I find that fascinating because that is like has gone full circle from like the 50s and 60s, 70s, where it was like you were expected to dress sexy at the office.
Yeah.
That was like the male expectation for women at work was you needed to look good.
Yeah.
And that was how, like in 9 to 5, I think of Dolly Parton's character where she's just like va va boom the whole time. But like that was how they wanted you to dress at work. And then it's like, women's lib happened and, we wanted to wear pants and we don't want to be forced to wear these sexy clothes at work. And then now we're like, wait, we're back? Like we're back at the, I want to dress sexy at the office? Like,
I think it's become a revolution of women feeling objectified. We're not going to be objectified anymore. And then it turning back to, we can wear whatever we want. And doesn't matter if you're like, you don't get to objectify us. We can wear whatever we want. Like, I think you're right. It's become like a full... But then with men, I feel like men are not getting objectified the way they want. Or I don't know if they want that. But
oh my God, that reminds me of an Instagram that I saw last night. It was this guy. He's like, do you ever? She's talking to a girl. He's like, do you ever look at men and go like, yeah, I'd hit that. And she's like, oh yeah, all the time. And then she punches him in the face. Like, that's the objectification that we give men. I want to punch you in the face.
We're going to get hate for this. I love it. Well, the male standard, one of the examples I saw was Suits. That's a show, I think, not a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's literally built around the idea of the credibility in wearing sharp suits. And I thought that was kind of an interesting example in how here, I think Bill and Tim generally dress really nice. I think when the remote guys visit, we have sharp dressers.
They step it up when they
Mark's
come in
always
office.
Dress really nice.
Yeah.
Like the men here really like to dress really nice. I think it's pretty rare that they dress casual, but it's not like they're required to wear suits, and I don't think that they should. I feel like that would be a little.
I think it's nice when if we're gonna take a client out for a client lunch or a meet and greet or whatever, like the jeans, blazer, button-up shirt, dress shoes look is fully acceptable and sufficient for, you don't need to wear a suit. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So how do you think, like, if you're not a person that's generally a dress-up type, how could you still either learn to be or show up appropriately or, like, anything along those lines in order to have a good appearance to...
That's a really good question. I like that question a lot because I think if you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning and you say to yourself, would my clients trust me if they saw me? Do I look like someone who knows what I'm doing? Yeah. Like if I saw me, would I be like, oh no, I don't want them to handle my portfolio? You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to give them tens of thousands of my money to invest. Things like that. It's like, do you look credible? Do you look knowledgeable? Do you look like you can handle your stuff? Do you look like you can do your job? Yep. So, and if you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't know. Like if I saw someone, that looked like what I'm wearing, like, would I trust that person to accomplish something on their own, or would I want them to manage my hedge fund? Or I don't, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, it comes with the territory of the work fashion environment, I guess.
Yeah, I think any person I don't think you have to change who you are.
No.
I think any personality type is capable of good hygiene, for one, and just not being sloppy. I don't think if you're a person that doesn't like wearing makeup, you don't have to wear makeup, but you can still brush your teeth and brush your hair and, make sure your face is okay. Put on chapstick, whatever it is, so that you look presentable. And, you don't have to Devil Wears Prada buy couture clothing, but you can wear clothing that's not, ripped and stained and too big or too small for you. I think those are basic principles that anybody can live by, and then I think it makes sense to me if you're dressing for the occasion, right? So like if you're in a casual environment, you dress more casual. If you're in a business environment, you dress more business. So maybe like at the office, you wouldn't be wearing a graphic tee or sweatshirt that was overly casual. I don't know. So you'd pick for the occasion, right? Like you were talking about, if you're going out for a business dinner, you might dress up more like nice. The men aren't wearing suits here because that's too nice.
Yeah, it's not really the vibe. Like lawyers should wear suits because they're going before a judge.
Correct.
Like, and they're, you want to be uber professional when you're going before, I can't think of the word.
The judge?
Yeah, the judge, but like, like you wouldn't wear your sweats if you had an interview with the president.
Right.
or someone important like that. So, or if you have a court date, you don't want to show up like in your PJs,
right?
For
but
your
you
court
can still
date.
Show up in your own style. You don't have to be someone that you're not.
Exactly.
You just need to be presentable.
Yeah, and I think that's the fine balance of workwear is being yourself while being professional, because it's like it's a tough balancing act, especially for if you're not into fashion. Whatever. But I don't think you necessarily have to be into fashion to look nice at the office, or at least look professional anyway.
And as we know, I'm all about accessorizing. I believe in an accessory. I'm like earrings is up and tinsel in my hair and fake nails when I can. I'm just like, I think a little goes a long way with just like.
It does.
Whatever.
It does.
I don't know how men accessorize. I'm not a man. I don't know. Belts, watches.
Watches, I would definitely say, because Erin loves a cool watch.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely one way for men to accessorize.
Yeah.
And, like, if you wear a tie, like, if you're in a situation where, like, you need to wear a tie to the office, like, ties can be cool.
Yeah. Men, how are you accessorizing?
Yeah, let us know.
Educate us.
Obviously, we're not, like, in the Cary Grant days of wearing a suit and a hat.
Right.
Everywhere we go.
A pocket square.
My handkerchief. What are those things called that hold your socks up that they used to wear?
I don't know.
It's like a garter belt for your ankle.
Any men out there still wearing those?
Still rocking the ankle garter belt, gentlemen.
You know what? I bet Bill is pretty good at, like, he likes fun fashion things.
Yes, he does. What was that jacket he wore the other day that was like brocade?
To Pima?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put a photo of that up.
Yeah.
So that jacket he originally got, I believe, for our Pointy Awards night for our 10th anniversary.
Okay.
And he wore that for our awards night, and so
it was.
I think he's always looking for an excuse to pull it back out.
It's great. It was like gold and kind of bronze brocade, shiny, glittery suit jacket with like I think it was a black collar.
I don't
I
remember
think it was
in this
black,
moment, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he looked like he was hosting an award show or something.
And that is what he got it for.
Yeah, that's what he got it for.
Yeah. No, he loves a reason to get dressed up nice. He loves like bow ties and all kinds of little things like that. So an ascot, whatever. He likes that kind of stuff. Yeah. So again, I think that just circles back to just like whatever it is that's you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look bizarre if you're dressing for. No one is like freaked out when I show up here in fur anymore because they're just like, that's who Christy is.
Exactly.
But
it's you.
I think for someone else, they might be like, oh, you wearing fur now? Like,
yeah, I think that
fake fur. Fake fur,
yes. No paint throwing,
Don't
please.
throw blood on me.
But yeah, I think that's the key is, are you comfortable in it? Mm-hmm. Like if you're comfortable in what you're wearing, then you're going to exude confidence.
Right.
But if you're like, even if it's a really nice outfit, but you're so uncomfortable wearing it, that's going to come out in your demeanor and it's not going to go well.
Right.
Like, so, just make sure you're comfortable. Be you, but don't be sloppy.
Yeah.
I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Do you notice that you treat people differently based on how they're dressed?
I'm sure I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to admit that I do, but I'm sure I do.
Yeah, I'm sure I do too.
Because it's like one of those things where, like, even if you're consciously aware of it or not,
I think
it's got to be something that we do because it's just how we're raised in this country. Like, how you look is very important. But
and I think just people act based on how they're dressed. So it's not even like a necessarily me thing. It's like I'm following up based on how they are now acting because they're dressed nicer or more casually.
Yeah. I think the Silicon Valley tech sector kind of flipped work fashion on its head in the sense that, like, instead of wearing suits to the office, tech nerd guys were like showing up in sneakers and jeans and a t-shirt and very casual. And they're just like, oh, you don't have to wear a suit to be smart.
Right.
So like, there's that part of it too, where it's like, it can be anything you want it to be. I feel like it just needs to be jeans, sneakers, and a t-shirt can also look nice. Just don't wear sloppy ones. You know what I mean? Like even guys that like show up to Silicon Valley jobs and they're dressed casually, they don't look homeless.
Yeah, right.
Right. Or like they were left on a desert island for a year.
Right.
So, yeah, for me, I think that's the key is just being comfortable, being confident, and that's professional.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you.
Yeah. You know what I do to pick out my outfits?
What?
I have pictures. I take pictures of myself in outfits, and then I put them in an album in my phone.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. So then that way, it's very
clueless.
Clueless.
It's
very
so
clueless. It's very clueless. So then that way, like almost every night, if I I'm like, I don't know what to wear tomorrow. I did that with this. I flip through like, I could wear that, or I could wear that, or I could wear that.
That's genius.
That's what I feel like that's a really good tip. Take pictures of yourself in your outfits.
Yeah, there you go.
And then keep them in an album on your phone.
That's so funny.
And then be like, oh, because you forget about what you have.
I know, it's so true.
Or what pairs together. For women especially. Men are blessed and just can put on anything and look amazing.
Great. I know.
And you're not part of this.
They can shave, not shave. Yes. They look beautiful either way.
You're not part of this.
Yeah.
But for women, it's like we have a different body every single day.
Yes, we do.
And some
it's
days,
constantly morphing.
Some days I want to be more comfortable or more warm or whatever. And so knowing, like last night, knowing today I was going to podcast, I wanted to look nicer, knowing that I wanted to be slightly more comfortable because I was in more pain, and knowing that it was going to be colder today, I knew that these would be more comfortable, but also dressy and a little bit warmer. And I knew that it would pair well with this. And so I just flipped through.
Super smart. I love that idea. I've never done that, but I do have Pinterest boards just for business. I have a business casual board. And then I also have like color pairing boards, like what colors go well together. So like if I pull something out of the closet, I'm like, I want to wear this, but I don't know what other color I should wear with it or what I have that would go. And that helps a lot because then I can flip through and be like, oh, okay, I have this. It's that color. That could work.
Yeah.
You know. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I've got the old school
Whatever
Pinterest
works.
boards for
No, I love
workwear.
it. I love it. I think it's too abstract for me because I'm like, I love this outfit on Pinterest, but I'm like, but I don't have it.
Right.
So I'm like,
Right.
I don't.
Well,
know
that's
what
why
to
I
do
like
with
the
that.
color. But see,
The
that's why I like
colors
the
is a great
colors because
idea.
it's literally just circles of colors that go together on a post. But I have that color shirt and I have that color pants, or I have this color skirt and that top will work with it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's a great
So
idea.
then it's not like, oh, I wish I had that outfit that I can't afford.
Right.
It's like, okay, I have this color and I have this color. That works.
Yeah. Smart. Yeah. Whatever works.
Whatever works,
Whatever
guys.
works. I feel like we really went good into this topic.
Yeah.
I feel good about it.
I feel really good about it. I think it's cool too that companies have changed a lot over the years with how the rules have morphed and changed too, because you know, really it was like back in the day it was like one workwear uniform. It was like men wore suits, women wore dresses or pantsuits or
At
whatever.
a certain point, we're able to wear.
Yeah,
pants.
yeah. But I feel like the clothing companies have also stepped it up to be like, okay, here's a new take on workwear. Here's a new way we could style ourselves at the office without having to, you know, still look like it's the 1950s.
Yeah.
So they've stepped it up. Thank you, commercialism.
We appreciate the progression.
Yes, thanks for keeping up.
Well, I have a get to know the team member fact for you before we end. I've been better about keeping up with this. I'm trying so hard. I don't know why it's been so difficult.
You totally stumped me the last time.
1,000 people work here. It should not be that hard to get facts about people. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
For this fact? Okay. Which team member? My first pet's name was Carmichael. It was a cat.
A cat.
There's no way you can know the answer, but
oh, come on.
You get to guess. Their first pet's name was Carmichael, and it was a cat.
Mark.
Nope.
Kevin.
Nope.
Maddie.
Nope.
Erica.
Nope.
I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay, it is a super obscure person.
Super obscure. Shalami.
Nope. That was a good guess.
Rachel?
Nope.
I'm just going to name everyone at the company.
And I'm afraid you're not going to think
Is
of
it a
this
man
person.
or a woman?
It's a woman.
Okay. Christina?
Nope.
Yuri?
Nope. So this game has become name every person.
Name every person that works for Seaplane. You stumped me again. I really have no clue.
This person doesn't really work here. They
Are they a freelancer?
They pay our paychecks.
Oh, Amanda.
I have no idea how else to describe this.
Yeah,
it feels
that's true.
unfair.
That's so true because she really does work with us, but like we never see her. She's like, she's the wizard behind the
Wizard
curtain.
of Oz. Amanda's the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, she's pulling the strings and the levers behind the
she's
scenes.
crucial to this operation.
Yeah, we would all fall apart without her.
But I don't. It's like, it's just kind of like that's the only thing she does. So it's kind of like, I don't even know if she's in the Super Sea Point chat.
I don't think she is.
And so it's kind of like
she doesn't want to listen to all of our shenanigans all day long.
Of course not.
She's got more important things to do.
Anyway, it was Amanda. Her first.
That's
pet.
a very cute name. I love that name, Carmichael.
Yeah.
So, well, you stumped me again.
Yeah. Well, it was Christina, which is also her sister. So
Good.
Moving forward, whoever else, there will probably be more, Amanda facts because,
she's hard to guess.
And also just them being sisters. Christina's the one
she's got
finding
all
all
the-
my facts for me.
She's got all the dirt.
She's got all the dirt on her sister. So, yeah.
Good
you're
call.
You're going to learn the ins and outs of these people that work here, just in really random ways, like what their first pet's name was. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for this delightful conversation.
Yeah,
as always, it
you
was
are
a pleasure.
popular. You're popular on this podcast, so I think that you have to just keep coming back. The people love Anna, so
Aw.
yeah. So leave in the comments what we should do next.
Hey, if you think of an outfit we should wear for next time, we could do a choose our outfit for the podcast if you put it in the comments.
Oh, I'm picturing getting up, changing, coming back.
No, I mean like comment down below today what we should wear next time.
Gotcha. I'm like, oh, that's going to be an active podcast that will get tiresome. Put up a curtain.
Yeah, no. I'm not talking quick change artist stuff here. I'm just saying like the audience chooses our outfit, maybe.
You have all the power.
You have all the power.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. It's the end.
No, it's not. There's more.
There's always more.
Don't be sad. You can catch our full video interviews on our YouTube channel. Come find us.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends so that we're not sad.
And follow us on TikTok.
And Instagram.
It'll make your day happier, promise.
And we'll know if you do. Until next time.